This is LIENE URESINA, and in this YouTube channel, I'm always sharing my experience, my aha moments, my development around three topics: your relationship, money, and health. Actually, at the end of the day, this is the only thing that we want in our life. We want more money, we want better relationship, and we want better health. Anything we are doing is because of those three things. And even the people who are saying, LIENE, money is not that important, it's more important to serve, it's more important how good of the person you are, I'm saying yes. But at the end of the day, if you are resisting money, if you are rejecting money, how are you gonna pay your bills? How are you gonna pay for your dinner? How are you gonna pay for your kids' clothes? So never ever reject money. And right now, I'm going to reveal a very important component that is responsible for your income. And probably something that you haven't heard so much, something that not that many people who are teaching money mindset, money energy are speaking about. And maybe at the beginning, you're going to have a resistance, or you're going to say, LIENE, this is not true. I don't want to listen this, but listen very carefully till the end, and you're going to understand. So right now, something that I'm learning is Hellinger system. And what is saying Hellinger system? It's that your relationship with your father is responsible for your income, for your career, for your boundaries, for your success in the professional life. On the other hand, your relationship with your mother is responsible for your self-love, your how you feel, how you build relationship with other people. And these are two different topics, but at the same time, this is the same topic. But today we're gonna focus on the left side that is responsible for your career, your money, and your development. So when I heard this in the first place, I was like, how come it's not possible? How is this working? But now when I'm studying it, when I'm implementing in my life, and when I'm seeing what are the results that I'm creating in my life, it's crazy. So I suggest you try, because this is gonna be aha moment for you. You can shoot two rabbits at the same time. Firstly, you're gonna build better relationship with your parents. You're gonna have a better feeling when you are around them. And secondly, it's gonna really show you the results in your professional life. That's why we will focus on the relationship with father. So how it works? It's basically when we come into this world, and when we grow, when we see our mother, when we see our father, some of the people don't see your father, some of the people don't see mother, but it's not what have you experienced as much as what do you feel, or how do you feel about your father and about your mother at this existing moment. And most of the people, they are receiving more love from mother, which is logically. And what we are doing, if the father has been hurting mother, and there is bad experience, or maybe some aggressivity, maybe, I don't know, the father has left because of another woman and never took care of the family, whatever. Everybody have their own life stories. And I say everybody have their own life stories, and me too. And what we do, we are looking at our father from the eyes of our mother. Think about it. Because, I haven't had the easiest childhood with my father. My mom was working really, really hard. My father was pretty passive aggressive. There were a lot of fights, and always around the money, around the relationship. I always saw how my father is separated from the family. We would even have the family dinners when me, my mom, my sister, we would eat separate, and my father would eat separately in another room. So I never had the feeling like we are the whole family. And it really felt like I need to protect my mom. And throughout these years, right now I'm 40 years old, I realized that most of the times I was like a father for my mother or a husband for my mother, who was always taking care of my mom, who was always buying, treating her well, taking to restaurants and everything. And I'm not saying it is bad, but it shouldn't be that you are doing this from the position of I'm your husband. It should be from the position I'm your mother, I'm your daughter, sorry. And then I realize right now, when I'm looking at my father and my relationship with father, I was always judging him. I never accepted him. And I was looking at my father from the eyes of my mother. Because, of course, if I saw that he was hurting my mother, it means, that he is not a good person. And I would always, be aggressive, and I wasn't nice to him. And actually, it really hurted. But now we have to understand one super important thing, that we come 50% from our mother and 50% of our father. So when there is a creation of such a beautiful thing as a baby, we come 50% of our mother and 50% of our father. And if you reject or resist your mom, so you're 50% of your father, and you are not complete as a person. If you reject your father, you are resisting your father. And again, there is only 50% of you. And I remember when my mentor was saying to me, he said, "Liene, look, you do not accept yourself," because I'm working with a shaman, with a spiritual mentor who is for almost 2 years already, who is helping me, to see something that I'm not able to see. He's seeing the visions, he's, channeling me, and I really see the benefit of it. And when he came to me and he said, "Liene, you are not accepting yourself. You are not accepting a part of yourself." And I could never, ever understand, what does he mean? Like, I accept, I love myself, I work on my self-confidence, but I couldn't understand it up until last week when I had a conversation with my father. And we were in Turkey on the family trip. My husband's parents came, my parents came. And usually, when you go on the trip with your family members, you have this expectation that everything is gonna be fantastic. And then when you are all together, think about the Christmas time, about Thanksgiving and everything else. When you're together, you have all the challenges again, the history keeps coming back, and then you are angry and people are fighting. But this time it was very different, because I have been learning this lesson and I want to share it with you. So what I learned was that I'm not allowed as a daughter to teach my parents how to live. And if I don't accept them, if I judge them, if I resist them, if I reject them, it means I'm going from my ego and higher position where I say I know better how to live. But from the point of hierarchy, at the end of the day, I was made by my parents, by my mom and dad. Who am I to teach my mother something? Who am I to teach my father something if they are my mother and father? And in the system of Hellinger, your mom, your dad are above you, and only you are the member of your parents. But when you are starting to teach them, when you are saying, "Mom, your husband is not that good," or you're saying, "Mom, you shouldn't do this," you teach them to live. But who are you? You are a member of the family. And this is something, whenever I want to open my mouth and whenever I want to say my mom how to speak with father or why they should fight or not fight, I'm always closing my mouth and I'm saying, "Liene, you are a member of this family." And member is not allowed to teach their parents, because my mom chose my father as her husband. My father chose my mother as his wife, and whatever relationship they have, it is perfectly okay. Even from my perspective, I think my mom deserves better, my father needs to behave differently, whatever. I am not allowed to give any suggestions. And not only not to give, I should be very humble as a kid and believe that they are living their life experience exactly how it's supposed to be. And now I know a lot of people are gonna come and say, "Liene, but you don't understand. I had a completely different story. You know, my father was abusive and everything." I get it. My father also was abusive. My father was an alcoholic, and there were very bad experiences in the past. But what I learned that before I came, and I believe in souls, before I came in this lifetime, I made the decision that I want exactly this mother and exactly this father, whoever they are, whatever they are doing, whatever they are working. And they did their best to be as good parents as they can be. Even though you think they could do differently, even though you think that they could do better, but at the end of the day, they did exactly the best that they could with their existing knowledges, with their existing resources, and everything they have right now. And you know, now we are so smartly teaching our parents psychologically, but look at them. They didn't have Google, they didn't have psychotherapists, they didn't have the help that we are having right now. We are the generation that is working on the personal development and that is now looking and able to go and learn how to be a good parent, but they did exactly the best they could with their existing experience. And when I'm thinking also about my father, I'm saying, you know, he really did the best that he could because he was living without his father. He was living with a mother who was taking care of really disabled person, and he didn't receive that much love. He was just living by himself and always just trying to survive. And he didn't know what is love. He didn't know how to show love. He didn't know how to speak love. He didn't know that all. And when he came in to the relationship with my mom and created the family, they exactly created the best they could with their existing resources. And that's why I highly suggest you, if you want a happy, wealthy, expansion, rich life, you do not judge your parents. You accept them exactly the way they are. Because if we're gonna be looking at our father with the eyes of our mother, we will be always judging him. We will be always saying he needs to be better. And I'm not his mom, I'm not his wife, I'm his daughter. And just a very long beginning of this video, and then I realized, so I need to change it. But I didn't know how is it gonna happen. So we are in Turkey, we are sitting all together, and I start to have a conversation with my dad, and he turns to me and I said, you know, Dad, I really love you. I'm so grateful actually that you created me. I started to memorize the things that he was giving to me in the past, that he was, you know, teaching me how to look at the clock, how to read the clock, how he was taking me outside, how he was showing me and, you know, doing some gymnastics, like I was like a plane. And I was starting to remember those beautiful moments. And the whole, at least past 25, even maybe 30 years, I was kind of living separately. I was looking at him with the eyes of the judgment. And this was a moment when I laid on his chest and I said, you know, I love you. I really love you exactly the way you are. And I felt such a beautiful healing at that moment, such a beautiful relief. And I think in that moment when I accepted him, when I loved him, when I showed this love, I received so much healing. And you know what happened? You know, a lot of things started to get organized in my business, in my life, with my, you know, partners, with my employees. It started just to click as a puzzle. And what I'm trying to say you is, in order for you to make more money, in order for you to succeed in your professional life, you must understand you have to have a happy, not happy, you have to accept your parents exactly the way they are, without any judgment, without any expectation, with full gratitude, only because they created you. You are alive, you are happy, you are here in this lifetime. Yes, maybe there are some shitty things that are coming from the past. Yes, maybe there was so much pain, but don't look at it as a victim. Don't look at it as from the victim's position. How did it happen to me? You can look at it and say, okay, whether I can use this situation as my strength, as my experience that is going to allow me to become a better, stronger person. Or I can look as a victim and judge my parents and say, you know, you didn't do this well, you didn't do this well or that well. And I can always say, you are exactly where you are supposed to be with your existing life. And if you had this trauma from your parents, you always have a choice at this moment, whether you're going to live in the past, whether you're going to suffer and continue repeating these stories again and again. This was my life, you know, I was abused, I had this problem and this problem. Or you can say, you know what, I can change my story. I can say, yes, I had this experience. Yes, it was really painful. Yes, it was really bad. But I make a decision that now I'm going to use it as my force, as my power that is going to help me to create the life of my dreams. And instead of living in the past, I'm going to live in the present moment because of those experiences. I learned so many things because of those experiences. Now I get to be a better parent. Now I get to build a better family. Now I get to be a better person. And if I wouldn't have this experience, then I wouldn't have the life that I'm living right now. And yes, maybe it's not perfect, but exactly you come into this lifetime, you come into this planet because you have to grow and develop. And if you are living as a victim, if you are judging, if you are complaining, if you are creating these past stories again and again and again and again, then you are creating the reality from your past, not as a winner, but as a somebody who is living from the victim's position. So I hope it was really helpful. I want you to share what was your aha moment here and how you can improve your relationship with your father and your mother, because these two things are going to be the basic of everything, how you're going to build your life. And if you are not able to succeed with your money or with your health or with your relationship, start with your parents, because then you're going to see how everything is changing in your life, in your business, in your relationship, and with your health. Thank you so much for listening. It was really an important message that I wanted to share, that I experienced, that was so beautiful with my father, that I wanted to pass to you. And hopefully you're going to see what is changing afterwards.